Everyone. So, welcome to Bangalore. Hello, Bangalore, right? Okay. So, welcome to Insights IAS. Good. So, a very happy morning to you once again. So, I hope it is going to be a very happy journey from here onwards towards your ultimate ultimate goal of ಇದು ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಪ್ಪ ಇದು. I hope it is going to be a very happy journey from here onwards towards your ultimate goal. Yes. So, how many of you want to become IAS here? Good. How many Indian Foreign Service? 2, 3. Good. IPS? Great. Yes. So that is the dream that you have in your mind, right? Or maybe heart also, that you want to become an IAS officer and an IPS officer, and some of you Indian Foreign Service also. So that's a very big dream in Indian society, considering the aspirations of majority of people in India. Want to become IAS or IPS officer is a ambitious dream. In fact, a very big dream, right? Because if you take any district for that matter, in the entire district, maybe 40-50 people will be dreaming of becoming an IAS or IPS officer. So considering all the colleges that exist there, degree colleges, engineering, medical colleges, right? So many people have different ambitions, definitely. But when it comes to Indian administrative service, it is definitely considered as higher aspiration for so many reasons. Because at a very young age, when you become an IAS officer or an IPS officer, or for that matter, Indian Foreign Service or IRS, at a very young age, you are given immense responsibility. The amount of responsibility, right, that rests on your shoulder is so immense that there are huge expectations in terms of you are basically shouldering the responsibility of taking the entire country forward, right? In the entire country, you see around 5,000 IAS officers currently serving, around 5,000 IPS officers, and around 12,000 legislators, right? MLAs, MLC, and MPs. So overall, it is somewhere around 20,000 people, right? Definitely, there are so many other people in this governance structure, but it is these 20,000 people who are vested with immense responsibility to take this country forward towards the goal of becoming a developed country. So we have 142 crore people in India. So 142 crore. So if you divide 142 crore by 5,000, how much it comes to? I don't know. How much? Anybody? Good in mathematics? 142 crore divided by 5,000. Maybe 30 lakh. 30 lakh. Am I right? Somewhere around 28 lakh to 30 lakh. So one officer has the responsibility of 28 to 30 lakh people. So in a similar way, no, I think it is more than that. It's more than that, I think. Because for every 20 lakh people, there is one member of parliament in India, right? The way the constituencies are carved in India, for every 20 lakh people, there is one member of parliament. So if it is 5,000, it is less than that. That is 2 lakh something. No, I don't know. So it's a very big number, right? I'm poor in mathematics. But anyway, per IAS officer, you have the responsibility to develop or whatever government benefits are there, services are there, right? To make them reach to the individuals. So at a very young age, like you can crack this examination at 22, 23. Usually the median age is nowadays it is 28, right? So it is around 27 to 28. So that is, so when you take the median of all the people who have cracked UPSC examination, those who get into IAS, it is around 27 to 28. So again, there is a reason why it takes multiple attempts. Again, there is a reason why it takes for someone to, you know, it's not very easy to crack at a young age like 21, 22. Why not? It is easy to crack at very first attempt. So there are multiple reasons. So if you happen to meet me in my cabin during counseling or during admission, I would have discussed about it, why this examination is difficult. So one of the reasons I have figured out, or I have found out based on my experience of interacting with so many aspirants who come for admission and who also prepare for this examination, there are few things you come unprepared. So there are few things that you have never done in your life. So, but that aspiration is always there in your head to become an IAS officer. So, for some of you, it has been your childhood dream. For some of you, maybe during college days. But at least few years ago, this dream started getting shape in your head. That you started visualizing that you want to be in this position, right? So, at least few years ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago. So, despite getting that thought of becoming an IAS officer, you were either not told to strengthen your general awareness component, or you didn't get time to strengthen that general awareness component, right? So there is a difference between general knowledge and general awareness. So in UPSC, in the entire notification, you will never see a word general knowledge anywhere, right? You search for the word knowledge, that is there, but general knowledge, it is general studies or general awareness. So we have all the general studies papers, you know about it. In the notification, you will see the general awareness. So what has happened in majority of your cases, the moment you passed ninth examination and entered 10th examination, so there was lots of expectations on you, right? To get 90 plus or 95 plus, highest percentage possible in the 10th standard, so that you would get into best PU college. So you got into best PU college in 11th and 12th, and then what happened? So you had your own expectation. At that time maybe dream of becoming a doctor or engineer, right? Or maybe some of you maybe CLAT exam, I don't know, maybe commerce. So you had the dream of again getting into best college, but I don't see many people dreaming about getting into best college. So what they dream about is getting into the best course, computer science, right? If it is engineering, if it is, of course, medical, MBBS. Only if you don't get MBBS, then BDS, agriculture, veterinary science, all these horticulture, forestry, BAMS, BNYS, these things happen. But it is the dream of MBBS. So in order to chase the dream, what you do is, again, 11th and 12th, it is entirely spent on mastering PCMB or PCMC, whatever combination you have chosen. So even the board exam is also neglected. But because by virtue of your better preparation for competitive exam, NEET or JEE or CET, majority of you end up doing well in board exam also, 85, 90%. So majority people who come for admission, I've seen that, so they have done decently well, 85 plus or 90% plus in the PUC. So 10th, 11th and 12th were totally spent on preparing for the examination, board examination. Even though if you had dream of becoming IAS officer, you never had the courage to read newspapers, right? Spend like 1 hour or 2 hours on reading newspapers or watching good news, let's say from BBC or Doordarshan, right? Secondly, you might have developed hobby of reading books in school days, 7th, 8th, 9th standard, maybe English literature or Kannada literature. Then again, it gets stopped in 10th, 11th, 12th. So you stop reading these books. So once you enter into your dream college or dream course during the graduation years, the culture is entirely different. So majority of the colleges, do not encourage you to pursue extracurricular activities, especially in literature, in writing, right, in elocution, public speaking. So these are the essential traits, essential skills for any leader, so that are not consciously cultivated or developed during the graduation years. Very few colleges do that. So whenever somebody comes after PU, I recommend them to go to some of the colleges in Delhi University. Maybe so if they are capable to get into best engineering colleges, maybe IIT or NIT. So where these activities, where the college gives equal emphasis for both academics and extracurricular. Now, the reason I'm starting with this discussion is that while I was speaking, maybe less than 1% of you might have done the things I was talking about. Reading newspapers regularly, especially English newspaper. Prajavani, Vijayavani, some of you definitely read. Mostly sports or entertainment, political news. Some of you maybe crime news, right? But not editorials, the opinion pages. So where you wanted to develop in-depth understanding. So general knowledge is mostly a factual, conceptual knowledge, right? What, WHAT, what of anything is mostly general knowledge. So general studies, you go deeper, try to learn the concepts, right? And various aspects and dimensions of the concepts. So adhyayana, study. So you study even the general thing, anything related to economy, environment, right? Out of your interest. So general awareness is ability to apply whatever in-depth understanding you have gained about any issue or any concept, right? So ability to apply that to day life, day-to-day events, day-to-day things that happen around you. So that is the general awareness. So you are aware of yourself. There is self-awareness and there is general awareness. Both are equally important. So once you gain self-awareness about your own personality, the weaknesses, the strengths, the various aspects of your emotions, right? So at what time, how you behave, what determines your behavior, what impacts your behavior, what controls your behavior, right? So that is something that you understand yourself, and there is general awareness why people behave differently. So why politics is this way, right? Why mob, behaves the way it did during RCB celebration or during Kumbh Mela celebration, right? So you start applying the concepts of, right, psychology, philosophy, maybe economy, right? Geography, whatever, culture, history, so many concepts, right? So you start analyzing from various dimensions. Now, unfortunately, till now, for most of you, so that kind of education was missing. So was not given to you, or that kind of culture didn't exist in your own colleges, in your own homes, right, in your surroundings. So what happened? It has been kind of a linear way of learning, right? With a single dream of maybe pursuing a very good professional course again as a backup. Now that puts you in certain disadvantages stage currently. As of now, I am talking about, right? So this fact I am perfectly aware of. So being aware of this particular vulnerable position of you, we at Insights IAS, decided that just making you sit in the classroom, giving you conventional approach of, just teaching concepts and then sending you away will never help you get the result. So what we did is we created a circular process here. Every day answer writing is a ritual here, right? Whatever you are learning, you have to compulsorily apply. You have to practice. It is not your college days, school days where you learn slowly, and then you have this notion that after 1 year, after finishing the coaching, I will start writing answers. No, at Insights IAS, I personally don't believe in it. Considering where you come from, right? So that is not an option. If that is the option, it is going to take 4 to 5 years for you to crack this examination, right? You have to be quick. So another vulnerability, another weakness is that That culture which I was talking about, extracurriculars and whatever, that also that also should have helped you to develop a strong self discipline, right? Strong self accountability, that without anyone telling you, you have control over your urges, emotions, right? Your desires, distractions. So you have the ability to say no to things that doesn't matter to you, right? That are not important to you. So that kind of conditioning, that kind of personality development hasn't happened. So only you would have studied like 6 to 8 hours, 2 3 days before the examination, right? But not every day during your college days. Am I right? Not every day. Like let's say it was your first day in the college, and then there was just like this orientation, and there was a class. So very unlikely that you would have gone back and taken all the textbooks and read throughout the day, and next day continuing the same thing. No, in college this doesn't happen, right? Now you have to do it for the next 750 days continuously. What? Studying at least for 10 to 12 hours every day with 1 day break in a week, right? Half day break or 1 day break. So do whatever you want. I mean, when I say whatever you want, I have some recommendations. So the break should also be intellectually stimulating and relaxing, right? Watch good movies, award winning movies, go to theater, right? Maybe Ranga Shankara or somewhere. Go to some good seminars where there is intellectual discussion is taking place. Let us say caste census in Bangalore. Today's events in the Hindu or Prajavani, you will see that there are so many seminars organized almost on a daily basis, more during the weekends. So you can choose, you can go to Indian Institute of Science if you're interested in discussion on emerging technology, science, scientific breakthroughs, right? So over a period of time you have to develop 2 to 3 interests also, and that is going to be beneficial during the interview as well as during the entire course of preparation, as well as beyond when you become an IAS officer. So strong interest, at least 2 strong interests. Maybe you are so much interested in quantum computing, right? So those who have done BCom, BA or BSc, doesn't matter, you can develop interest something outside your academic domain also. So what about quantum computing? How is it going to shape humanity? So during mock interviews, I was so curious. Whenever a computer science graduate from any IIT, I have done mock interviews for computer science graduates from IIT Bombay, right? People from various IITs, NITs, best engineering colleges. So I used to be curious. I used to ask them, okay, now what is the potential of combination of artificial intelligence and quantum computing? How is it? Is it going to have a very fundamental impact on the humanity or human societies, right, around the world? So this is a very large, very broad, big question. You have to apply imagination, you have to apply the concepts about quantum computing, about artificial intelligence, their implication for the society. When we talk about society, society is not homogeneous, right? In society you have poor and rich. In society you have lots of inequalities, lots of cultural differences, lots of communities, caste, nationalities, everything. So how is it going to impact? It's a very general question driven by curiosity. So only if you have developed interest, you will search for such articles, such podcasts, then you would have learned something about it. So if such kind of question you face in the interview, you will be in a far better position to answer in terms of analysis, in terms of depth in your thoughts and ideas. So that is what engages the reader, engages the listener, right? So when there is depth, when there is weight, what we say, ತೂಕ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ. So when there is analysis, right, based on logic, based on your perfect understanding of the concepts. So any two interests if you develop, your interview is definitely going to be engaging, interesting, and you will definitely end up scoring 190 plus or 200 plus, right? So this is another part which is ignored, because again we have to go back to our college and you know school days, so where you are not allowed to develop any interest. So don't do the same mistake during the UPSC preparation. So 5 to 6 days, you work hard, 10 hours, 12 hours, 14 hours. One day you take a break. Maybe you can read magazines, you can read novel, you can read non-fiction books. So never give an excuse that you don't have time, right? So some of you may be slow in learning. Some of you need more time to understand certain concepts. I definitely understand. Accordingly, you set your target, right? That's why I said your own awareness, self-awareness is also important here. Just because someone is moving very fast, someone is writing more answers, better essays, right? So you look back and see where you have come from, right? Unfortunately, we have educational inequality in this country, right? Everyone is not given equal education, equal opportunities, and beyond educational inequality, we have other inequalities that have affected, right? So our development, intellectual development. So you may come from Kannada medium, you may come from government school or college where no one never spoke in English, no one never read in English, no one even taught in English, right? You may take little extra time. So set 27 as your target, right? So don't be in a rat race, right? See, anything, especially in this examination, every day, whatever you do needs to be almost perfect. The definition of perfect is that whatever you do on a daily basis should stay with you for long duration of time, right? What you do today, right? You should invest lesser time in repeating the same thing, let us say after a few months, after 1 year, right? Are you getting the point? So what you are learning today should have a strong reinforcement within your mind, in your memory. So for that, you may choose few things to do more deeper way, or if you are quick learner, fast learner, few extra things, maybe few extra hours, right? You have to deepen and sharpen it, your knowledge base. So for that, answer writing is must. For that, solving previous year questions, both prelims and mains, is compulsory. So if you're merely coming here, taking notes, going back, reading NCERT textbooks or any standard textbooks, and thinking that that is the achievement, that is the maximum you can do, you are wrong. Again, the same thing you have to repeat again and again and again, and it will keep always evaporating. It won't stay with you, right? So it's okay. So spend 1 or 2 extra hours, whether it is reading newspaper. In the beginning, it will definitely take, because some of you are going to start reading newspaper from tomorrow, right? Some of you might have started 1 month ago. Some of you might have started 2 months ago after your graduation, right? So it is going to take 2 to 3 hours for you to understand so many things that are there in the newspaper, especially the editorial section. But it is perfectly all right, right? Go through the difficult path, right? So yesterday somebody was telling, there was a seminar, Swami Vivekananda, you reach heaven through hell, right? So the gates to heaven passes through hell, right? So the hard route, the difficult route, the arduous route, right? So that is the way you have to choose for yourself, never the shortcuts. So take dictionary, right? Search internet to understand certain concepts. So don't wait. Like if it is related to economy, the editorial, don't wait for economy class to get over and then read this editorial. So that is a stupid thing to do in this examination preparation, because there must be a constant curiosity in you, right? What you don't know, you have to invest your own efforts to learn. If you are constantly thinking that you will come to class only after the class gets over that you are going to learn, right? That's a wrong attitude, right? That creates dependency, right? You are always dependent on someone or something to do something, right? The dependency has so much of detrimental impact, especially during the examination, right? Even independent thinking, independent application of your mind, right? The very aspect of that independence, right? So that is going to slowly, not become part of your personality. You always become dependent. So the dependency should gradually decrease as you move towards the examination, right? Beginning it will be there in major proportion. So as you move inch towards the examination, right? So the dependency is inversely proportional to your confidence, right? Again, confidence is directly proportional to the amount of hard work you put here, right? So as you move towards the examination, your self confidence should be moving exponentially, right? So that can happen only when you start practicing independent attitude on a daily basis. So start reading, with your own efforts, editorials. Economy you don't know, okay, fine, try to understand. You may not understand fully, but try. After a few days the same concept will be repeated, so twice, thrice, after you get exposure, after you have put your efforts, you will slowly start understanding. And when the same concept is taught in the classroom, you are perfectly aware of it. It is going to be with you for long duration. So similarly, nobody is going to tell you to write more answers here. So we give you one question and expect you to write one answer. Don't be satisfied with that. Anybody who is extra ambitious on a daily basis, right, is the one who actually goes on to crack this examination. So don't say that I have done more in a day. There is always more to do in a day, right? It is just your willpower, right? How strong that desire exists in your mind. So that is very important. So let us say that you are has anybody run, like ran 100-meter race or 200-meter race, 400-meter race? You 100 or 200? Good. Yes, 100 meters. Yes, to. Good, good. At what level? Good, very good. What position you got? Second. Okay, please sit down. So you are running, right? So you are running, and you are about to reach the finish line, and then you see that one guy is running ahead of you. Then you are also running behind him. So what is happening in your mind? You don't care about him. So you focus on. Very good, very good. So what about you? Hmm? You will just run, right? But you want to finish first, right? So when you want to finish first, what do you do? You like will no, do you feel like giving up, or do you feel like putting extra effort and running? See, I studied in Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya, right? Anyone from Navodaya school here? Oh, wonderful! So many of you. Very good. So I studied till the 12th standard in Navodaya school. So Navodaya schools, the free schools for rural students, poor students. So I was a poor and rural student. In 11th, 12th standard, basically in 12th standard, everyone stops doing sports. But I was, opposite of it. I was the school captain in 11th standard. And in 12th also, I wanted to be school captain. In 12th, they force you to study and they give responsibility to 11th standard guy. So I wanted to continue. I continued as sports captain also. Uh, there are like different houses, hostels. Like ours was the Shivalik house. 11th, we were the champions, overall champions. And 12th, we also wanted to be champions. Unfortunately, during the sports time, I had the typhoid, right? So typhoid was, what? Later it was diagnosed, but in the beginning I was feverish. And I had won as part of our team, Kabaddi, so many other tournaments. But there was only one more competition, the 400-meter race, that had to be won to get the trophy, the overall champions. So I was the one who had to do that. I had the fever. But there was this Boregoda, right, in another hostel. He was the champion all the time. So he was like very confident, like he knew that he was going to win. But we wanted the trophy. So you have fever, so you cannot do it. So let other junior do it, more energetic. So 12th, we are already old. So ninth, 10th, 11th people are more energetic. So I said, no, I'm going to do it, right? So I knew that I had fever, right? Somehow I gathered all the courage, all the willpower, right? Mustered every strength I had. Somehow I won the race. After winning, I don't know how I won. Like I just wanted to win. Went with all the full force, and I fell down. After winning that, I fell down, and at least for 15-20 minutes, like I was just like it was pumping so hard, right? The entire body was feeling so weak, and I felt as if I was going to die or something. So you felt like that because you had fever and you had done that. So I always keep remembering that event. So even when you are vulnerable, even when you feel like weak, when you have self-doubt, I think there is that inner strength within you. Doesn't matter how physically weak, right? There is always that inner strength within you. If you want to do it, you can always do it. If you want to achieve something, you can always achieve it. It is always, it depends. The challenge here is that can you practice it on a daily basis. We can do it once in a while when you want to win a trophy, maybe, right? Once in a year. But as an UPSC aspirant here, you have to do it on a daily basis. Every day is a UPSC examination here, right? And so this is my uh, how many 19th year in this field, right? As an aspirant, 6 to 7 years, and then somebody who started the insights on India.com in 2012 and started all these answer writing initiatives. So they were the pioneering initiatives. Nobody had thought about those ideas and decentralizing these things. And then I've been in this field guiding so many people. So in 19 years, what I've understood is that this, especially the UPSC journey, I don't want to romanticize it, but still there is a truth in it that it is a transformative journey, right? It actually transforms your personality for the better. The reason is that you are self accountable. You will learn self accountability, something you haven't done so far all these years, something you were not all these years, right? You are going to change that. You are going to change that for better. So you, after like 2-3 months, your parents will start observing uh, the seriousness in you, right? The seriousness in your conversation, the care in your conversation, the empathy in your discussion, right? Your keenness to help their situation, right? Your curiosity to know more things about what is happening, right? If at all you are speaking to your parents, they will start noticing it. So these are the qualities that will start becoming part of your personalities over a period of years. But we haven't come here to transform our personality here, right? So in addition to that, we have come here to crack this examination. It is very easy to say for me to do everyday answer writing practice, and then every week we have prelims as well as mains test based on whatever we have taught in that week. And then every month we have a full length test, not every month, after completion of every subject. So once the subject, like if it is art and culture, if it is completed, after that we have full length art and culture mains as well as prelims test. So this is to reinforce your concept, and everyone will do well in weekly test only if you have done daily practice. If you are not writing daily answers, you are going to skip the weekly mains test. This around 90% of the people in OGP do it, skipping the mains test, right? So now all of you are pumped up, like you want to become what? IAS officers, right? And if you have to ask the question, why you suddenly lose that confidence, or develop that self uh, doubt attitude, you have to ask that question. Don't let that happen, right? Always remember why you have come here. And we usually lose focus. One of the major reasons why we lose focus is that we lack the vision, we lack big thinking, right? We are not focused on the bigger picture, the larger goal. We are so much focused on the daily difficulties, daily ordeals, right? Small troubles. your mind is the universe, right? Am I right? Your mind is actually universe. It has immense potential. You are putting all that immense potential on food is not good, right? The chair is not good, right? Water didn't come today. Hmm? Sir came late, right? So I don't have that book, right? The neighbor didn't help me, right? He behaved arrogantly with me. My roommate is irritating, right? So the goal should be big. Of course, it is big. The focus on the goal should be so fierce, you shouldn't even notice all these things on a daily basis, right? The focus on goal should be so fierce, you shouldn't even notice all these things, right? Don't notice them. You will actually not notice them. When the goal is strong, when the focus is strong, you will just eat whatever it, even if uda idru tinbidtira, right? You won't even notice that you are going to live, you are not going to die, you know that, right? But if you focus so much on that particular thing, right? Evening ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ನೋವು dysentery, right? If you don't notice, it's not going to do anything actually. Like the mind, starts weakening your body. So that is why people, run away from here. Food problem, that problem. Like I see people eating in Indira canteen, right? Eating like anything, anywhere, perfectly, staying healthy and doing difficult jobs every day here, right? So the moment you start getting a small excuse, you should know that the focus on your goal has weakened, right? So the moment you start seeking comfort, you want to do everything from your comfort zone, right? So don't try to do that, right? As I said, choose the difficult path, right? It's okay to go through lots of ups and downs in the beginning. All of you will go through lots of ups and downs in the beginning. So don't see them as ups and downs. It is just part of the journey. It is very much integral part of the process. It is never going to be smooth, right? It is never going to be smooth for everyone sitting here. It is always going to be having ups and downs. It is always going to be difficult. So train your mind to be prepared to face all those eventualities, unforeseen circumstances, to face difficulties. It can be back at home, right? It can be to your friend, it can be to you also, right? The goal is more important here, right? Of course the process is also important, but the process should be like strategic. What is the meaning of strategic? We keep reading that, no? Planned for long term, basically, right? Strategic means you have a plan for long term goals or whatever you want to achieve. So there should be a plan, and OGP is the plan here at Insights IAS. So once you are part of the system, so you have chosen to be part of the Insights IAS OGP system. It is a system in place. There are teachers, there are tests, there are evaluators, there are content creators, there are mentors, right? And there are sorry, so many other things. So it is a system in place where you have to fully impose your faith in the system, right? The faith is extremely important. And I am here every week, at least minimum 3 days, maximum 4 days every week, no matter where I am, right? What I am busy in, I evaluate essays, right? And I also guide students about how to plan. I evaluate ethics answers, right? So you can come and show ethics and essays to me directly. And when you are showing me, right, so you are maybe like, I would like to boast about myself. You are showing to one of the best people in the essay category in India, right? So last 11 years, anyone who has shown me essays and got the mentorship feedback has always been in the top 3 in terms of highest scoring in the essay paper. Past 11 years, sometimes top, sometimes second, sometimes 3. I know what kind of essay gets highest marks in this examination, right? So when you come and show your essay, I'll be able to evaluate accordingly. So if this year is 145 marks is the highest given for the essay paper, for any one essay, I know what it looks like exactly, right? What are the elements, what are the components that essay must have. Accordingly, I will evaluate your essay. What are the missing components in your essay? What is missing in your essay? I'll be able to tell you. So that during the next course of 1 year, 1.5 years, you can go slowly go on to include those elements in your essay. It's a long process. For some of you who already come with some kind of writing experience, writing exercises, it is going to be a quick journey, right? You'll just have to know what are the tweakings, right, that you need to do. So for those who haven't done any kind of writing practice, I recommend you to write minimum 40 to 50 essays during the course of next 1 year, almost one essay every week. Similarly, for all the GS papers, right? So currently our faculties are doing, Sudeep sir is doing IAM course, mains master class, right? And then other faculties are doing intensive bridge courses. So very popular courses for mains enrichment, right? Even yesterday, day before yesterday, Pratibha Lama, one of the toppers, she conducted topper session. So we went to our cabin. She was suddenly asking, "Where is Manju sir?" So I want to meet Manjunath sir. So fortunately, he was taking class in the OGP 1 building next to my cabin for the mains students. And I said, Manjunath sir, your student has come. Which student? So she was online student and he had never seen her. But the moment she saw him, like it was like fan moment. Sir, I relied totally on your GS2 notes for mains. So now it was opportunity for me. So I took her to IBC class. Instead of telling this to only 2 people, you tell to the class, right? So she in fact told the class that 2 years ago she enrolled for that course, and it has stayed as the base material, but she went on updating those notes everyday newspapers, but it stayed as the base material. So this feedback we have got from top 10 people, so many in top 100 over a period of years. So those faculties are the permanent faculties at Insight Science. Manjuna sir is not teaching here and going to another institution. He is not flying to another city. He is going to stay here. So you write any GS2 answers, go and show him, right? So he is going to give the best suggestion, feedback for that particular answer. Similarly, like paper 1, Sudeep, paper 3, Ashish sir is there, ethics, Umesh sir is there. So there are like 2 to 3 faculties for each and every paper. So you can go to anyone, they're all available. In addition to them, there are separate mentors, right? Mentors whose job is only to do the mentoring part, and they are also the people who have given multiple interviews, right? Evaluated hundreds of thousands of answers. So to become a mentor, there is a process at inside SIS. You should have given interview, you should have evaluated so many thousands of answers over a period of years. So then only you can become a mentor. So when you are part of the system, you are not merely a spectator in the system, right? So if you have come to be a spectator, then you are not going to appreciate the system, right? So you have to become part of the system in the sense for the short duration you are here, right? And make use of everything that is available in this system. Intelligently, smartly, if you can make use of it, in one attempt, you can crack this examination no matter where you come from, what are your current vulnerabilities, what are the current inequality that exist here. I mean it. I'm very confidently saying this because we have that kind of resources and facilities at Inside CES. And we are all committed, right? There is no excuse. So when you want to come and show essay, I might maximum, I can say, bring tomorrow, right? Tomorrow I am going to evaluate. But today, 99.9% I am going to evaluate. Only if there is some emergency, I might say. But I am not going to ignore you, right? In fact, I'll ask somebody in front desk and I'll tell them there was a student who had come yesterday. I had to send her back because of the reason. Can you call her back or something? So that is how seriously we take mentorship at Insight Says, because The reason why mentorship is very important, in the classroom, when teacher is telling you something, he is telling same thing for everyone, right? Now he is not individually picking you up and guiding you with respect to answer writing or conceptual clarity. Maybe he may be explaining how to write answer. He will say that in the introduction, right, you need to include xyz elements. So everybody has written the xyz elements in your notes. Now you go back and you start doing the answer writing practice. Now everyone will include xyz element in your introduction. Now how you have included it, to what degree you have included it, differs. Some of you might have missed the x element, right? Some of you might have exaggerated x element, right? Some of you might have added some new element to the xyz because you went back and studied well. When you come to the mentorship and show your answer, so then we will see, based on the benchmark, we know that gs1, this is the quality that you must write to score 100 plus in the gs1 paper, right? So maximum nowadays one can score in gs1 is 100 to 110. Most of the toppers also score around 80 to 90 in the mains gs1. Paper 3, I don't see anyone scoring 100 plus, right? Mains gs3. But we know how you can score 100 marks. Maybe economy answer, agriculture answer, disaster or security, right? So we know the quality. So when you come for the mentorship, the guidance is individualistic. So we will recommend you extra reading, right? And based on your background, so if you come from humanities background, maybe science background, so we will also tell you how to leverage that background, right? How to capitalize, how to leverage that particular background to enhance the quality of your answer. So if you're not coming for the mentorship, relying only on what is done in the classroom, you are just part of the larger competition, mediocre, just average, right? So this examination is all about, improving the quality of almost everything by 10 to 20%. Answer, essay, even in prelims, the way you understand concept, right? So that extra 10 to 20% comes mainly from your own extra efforts, as well as letting you know that if that effort is in the right direction and how it can be integrated with the all the UPSC stuff. So individual guidance is very important, because not only for mains but also in interview, individuality and originality matters, right? For example, if you come to me for essay evaluation, my expectation is that so you have to compulsorily include one or two references to classical literature, right? I expect you to write something from, let's say, War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, right? Maybe Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens, right? Maybe Machiavelli book, The Prince. PSIR people read that, but they don't read the book, The Prince. They read about his political philosophy, right? Maybe some works by Indian authors also. Arundhati Roy, God of Small Things, right? The Tomb of Sand, Anjali, the previous Hindi author who got Booker Prize. Heart Lamp, Banu Mushtaq, currently. So I set higher expectations, right? So it is not that you should go back and read. At least, are you aware of the book? Are you aware of the content of the book? Are you aware of the significance of the book? Why it won the prize? Have you read any reviews or criticism about the book? Do you know the summary of the book? At least few things. Similarly for philosophy also. So these are the extra things you must do to differentiate yourself from the larger competition. The same has implication in the interview also. So when you are talking, when you are responding to the questions in the interview, right? When we are having conversation in the interview, your quality of answer is evident based on all these extra efforts that you have put, right? The quality in your answer will be evident. Otherwise, it becomes obvious answer that what everyone is giving, you are just merely as a robot, you are repeating it. What everyone knows, that is the surface level stuff. So in the interview, as I said in the beginning, if you have heard, to engage them, there should be an intellectual element. element of curiosity, and also depth to your answer. So that depth, I don't think you can gain only by reading Lakshmikant, right? Or only by reading NCERT textbooks also. Little extra effort is must. Originality is must. And some people, what they do, smart people, to write original answer, they collect 10 toppers copies, right? They collect 10 different examples from 10 topper copies, and then they mix all of them, right? And then they write their own answer. And they think they have written the original answer. And they think that he or she is the only individual out of 142 crore people who has done that, right? You are in your bubble, you think that, this secret only you know. Download 10 copies from Vision IAS, Forum IAS, Insights IAS, right? The test series, the free copies available. Collect all the examples, right? Make them your notes. But of course, small sample is doing that. But in the competition, when 10 to 12,000 people are writing in the mains, I'm sure like 2 to 3,000 people would have done the same stuff. Again, the quantity varies from one candidate to another candidate, but that is not the originality, right? So don't do that. So definitely refer to toppers copies to understand what worked for them, right? And also to appreciate the quality if it was really qualitative. But you should also look at toppers copy, not to repeat anything from it, right? You have to better it. If you have appreciated the quality, maybe presentation, structuring, everything, now think hard, work hard to improvise. What is innovation? What is the definition of innovation? Hmm? What? Creating? Creating new things. Creativity. Okay. Yes. What is innovation? What? Hmm? Finding out something new. Okay. So if I add light to that fan, you may call it, you have innovated it, right? So if I then the came the remote came, then the innovated, right? Then different lights based on different modes. You are sad, blue light, right? You are happy, maybe bright light. Then you add music to fan. Then there is again innovation. Innovation is basically there are things that are existing. You are just making them more better, more useful, right? So you are creating something more useful, more better. So that is why we call innovative approach or innovative thing or something. So that innovation must be there in your answers. Everyone is writing same stuff. Can you innovate here? So try to innovate in your answer writing. Also innovate in terms of the way you prepare for the examination. So anybody who wants to innovate should have that innovative thinking also, right? That individualistic, different thinking. The reason I'm emphasizing on all these qualities, right, is that these are the must, right? Currently, if you want to become a topper. ಇದು ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಹಾಕಪ್ಪ ಇದು ಯಾರಿದಿರಲ್ಲಿ ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಬರಿಬೇಕು. So you know that how tough is the competition. Do you know? Do you have any idea how tough is this examination? I can actually scare some of you and withdraw your admission. Do you want me to do that? Are you scared? Yes or no? Are you up for the challenge? Are you determined? I don't hear the yes. ಎಷ್ಟು ಡಿಟರ್ಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಇದೆ, ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಗಲಿ ಮಾಡೇ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತಂದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಿ? ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಬನ್ನಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ರೀಫಂಡ್ ಕೇಳಕ್ಕೆ. So what was the cutoff for preliminary examination last year? Yes, 87.9. So last year prelims cutoff in GS 1 was 87.9. 9. Before that year, 75.4. Right, 75.4 was the cutoff. What it meant is anybody who scored above 75.4 was eligible to write mains provided they had cleared the CSAT paper. Right. So the cutoff went little down. I mean, relaxed to 87.9 last year because the paper was relatively easy compared to 23 paper. So again, this year paper, people are when we analyzed, we are seeing it was difficult compared to last year. So the cutoff will again come down. So in preliminary examination, the cutoff usually varies largely because of the difficulty nature of the paper. If it is easy, the cutoff is high. If it is difficult, the cutoff is low. Right? Based on the difficulty nature of the paper. Add to that how difficult was the CSAT that year, right? And also how many vacancies, right? Depending on the number of vacancies also. But largely it is determined by the difficulty nature of the paper. Now in mains, how many of you are aware of the cutoff in mains examination? Last year, how much it was? So when we say mains cutoff, to be eligible to give interview, under general category, how much you should have scored last year? 23 mains. So, it was 741 last year out of out of 1750, right? So this was the marks that you had to score, right, to be eligible for the personality test, to go to Delhi, to buy a new suit, to buy a new sari, right? So in fact, there are occasions they've asked about sari. Many a times, lady members, if your sari had unique pattern, something like that. So there are many such they have asked, what is the pattern, what is it called, which type of sari and all, right? So this year it was 729. So now it has come down, right? The cutoff has come down. So 23, the overall marks of All India topper was 1099. So in 24, the overall marks of topper was 1044. That is the combined score of mains plus interview, right? All India rank 1 I am talking about. All India rank 1 was 1099. All India rank 1 was 1044, right? Just check. So 953 was the score of last candidate in the general category in the final list. Rank 1 1099. So somewhere this is around rank 500, right? So considering 50% people. So the number of vacancies in 2023 was 1016. This is 8. So total number of ranks that were announced in the end, right? Total. So 50% of it around 504. That is around, not around, 508. So now this is the marks of the last candidate in the general category. This is the marks of last candidate in the general category. Now that 741 is the mains cutoff, right? That year to go for interview. So can you do the minus 953 minus 741? How much it comes to? 953 is the combined score of prelims and interview of the last candidate. All of you getting it? what I am trying to say here, right? How much it is? Similarly for this, 218. Am I right? Correct? So, if the individual had scored 741 exactly, 741 exactly in the mains, he would have called for the interview. He or she had to score 212 in the interview to be in the final list. So, you are assured of some service. When you score 212 marks, you are assured of some service in that year examination. In 2024, you should have scored 218, but UPSC is not giving above 215 to anyone. Doesn't matter you are Einstein or Newton, huh, or already an IAS officer. It doesn't matter. They are not giving above 215. In a very rare occasion, they have given. I think once in last 10 years, but largely it is 215. One or two candidates every year. 3 years ago, one of the students from the OGP batch, Akshay Simha, scored 215. So he was the OGP student, and I had guided him for the entire interview. I took mock interviews for him, 7, 8. So he had got 215 marks. So now this is impossible now, 218, right? Even if you get 215, you are out of the list. That year, even if the topper in the interview, you are out of the list. Got it? So now what does it indicate? Mains marks is important, that is right. But what we are also seeing is that the level of competition, now the difference between how much it is? 55, right? Now there is a drop of 55 marks, right? Now the number of ranks, there is no improvement of 55 ranks here. The number of ranks have remained same. But what is coming down is the main scores, the mains cutoff, right? The overall topper score. So 741 was the cutoff, 899 was the topper score in mains. Last year it was 863. This is the main scores of toppers, 899 and 863. Now again you see the difference, right? So despite all your abilities, how much you can score in mains is also coming down. And the problem is not the cutoff is coming down, the scores is coming down, the vacancies are same, right? If it was proportionate to increase in the number of vacancies, then we can understand it. Now, unlike in prelims, the cutoff is not coming down because of the difficulty nature of the papers. No one will ever come and say, the mains paper was difficult. Maybe optional, they might say, right? So, we have seen reduction of marks overall in the optional and also in the essay paper, right? So, optional they are trying to equalize. So, now there is no innate extra benefit by choosing one particular technical optional, right? Like earlier, they would have given 330, 340. Now they are not giving it. So it is somewhere around 280, 290 in any optional. One or two are still getting about 300, but largely it is coming down to out of 500, 270 to 280. So All India rank 1, 285 this year, her PSIR marks. Right. So earlier you would see that, almost every All India rank 1 would have 320, 330, 340 in their optional subject. So choose that optional that requires less efforts but gets you 250, 260 marks. Right. Now just because you are computer science graduate, don't go with mathematics. Maybe except even people with IIT CS degree have failed in the CSAT. Maybe in civil CSAT paper, it might have some application, right? But that should not be the logic of choosing mathematics, right? So whatever time you are going to spend in this UPSC preparation is mainly to maximize, right, this marks and also the interview marks. Your mathematics optional doesn't have even 1% of application in mains. Similarly, medical science, right? So there are some optional, like physics, chemistry, botany, zoology, they have zero application here. You may be gold medalist, you may be PhD, you might have written books on them. Even then, I would recommend don't invest your time there. Better you go with those optionals that have large application like PSIR, sociology, anthropology, literature. We recommend, right? Because as I said, reading literature has benefit in terms of essay, in terms of interview answers, in terms of refreshing your brain also, your mind. So again, it is effort is minimum, but the returns are decent enough. It is not like largely varying. I've seen people with Kannada literature who has done well with respect to their preparation, scoring 240, 250, 260 consistently. Right. So just don't be egoistic. Don't get attached to your academic subject. Think that syllabus looks similar, questions looks manageable, so don't go with that notion. So before you decide optional, uh, consult with us. Consult with, maybe you can sit in few demo classes. The ones you don't like sociology, political science, or anthro, right? You can sit in those demo classes and then you can take a call. Wrong optional will cost you 3 to 4 years in this journey. Wrong optional will cost you 3 to 4 years, even if you clear prelims, right? There is something called sunk cost fallacy, right? Sunk cost fallacy, what it means is that, let us say you have taken botany, right? Because you really love botany, you think that you are a master in botany, so you have bought so many books, invested in coaching, invested in test series, invested lots of time, then you write prelims, you realize that in botany you have scored only 160, 170. But you analyze and you think that no, my diagrams are not good, right? Maybe if I improve, I can score 240 or 250 next attempt. So you get stuck. Then in next months you will see that it is around 200, 210. Now in that moment, you don't want to go back. You don't have the courage to change something. So that is called as sunk cost fallacy. It is called as what do you call? Uh, in psychology, it is cognitive bias. It is called as cognitive bias. So we all suffer from various cognitive biases. So in internet, that echo chamber effect, right? So you believe in something, the Instagram, the Google search, or Facebook in your timeline, what you believe, the same thing is shown to you, right? So it always keeps you in echo chamber. So you shout, the same thing is heard back, right? So these are all cognitive biases. We suffer. You have to identify which is the bias. So once this happens in the optional case, it is very difficult to come back. I have known people with wrong optional, exhausting all 6 attempts, not making it, right? Because of this cognitive bias. So in the very beginning, if you make a right choice, then it is better, at least after immediately first attempt. Because some people don't listen, so we let them fail, right? Cannot, how can I prevent? I can only discuss, I can only convince, I can only give hundreds of examples, right? So it is very difficult, right? So we let them fail. If they pass, very happy, we are very proud. So that means he or she is the best in that subject for that year, right? Like that, there are cases. But now, right now, we don't know if they are really best. And I don't know if they know that they are really best from the UPSC standards, right? So you have to assess. Last year and before last year, NLS students, Avinash from Davangere and Jaydev from Bangalore. So they went ahead with the law, and even I tried to convince them, but they said during 5 years they had done extremely well in the law subject from the National Law School. So I said, okay, if it is not going to demand extra effort in the law optional, then you can go ahead with law. Both of them scored around 260s, right? But during their attempts, those years, all other optionals are scoring 320, 330, 340. If they had chosen PSIR, maybe they would have easily scored 280, 290. Of the knowledge they already had, right? But despite that, they got All India rank 5 and All India rank 31. But if maybe they had listened, they would have got All India rank 1, right? We would have added 2 more feathers to, right, our insights. But anyway, they still got IAS. So if you have done well during graduation, those subjects, right, daily current affairs, every day except Sunday, right? So in a month, how many we are posting, right? No, except Sunday, around maybe 350 questions, right? I mean, let us say like 300 questions into 300 days, right? You have 9,000 MCQs only from our website. All questions are new based on the everyday current affairs. We frame from editorials, we frame from totally factual news report, we frame from analytical stuff. We cover all the areas, science and technology, environment, polity, geography on that day. So in a year, you have 9,000 questions, right? You don't have to look anywhere else. Now, in the entire 100 questions of the preliminary test, you have maximum 30, 25 to 30 current affairs questions, right? Now, what is the percentage of the 25 to 30 out of 9,000? 25 divided by 9,000 ಎಷ್ಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ? What is the percentage? ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಷ್ಟು? 0 0.0 0.02 0.02. Don't you think there is no 0.02 probability of those questions you, in fact, we have counted this year, we have posted on the website also 25 questions which we covered in last 1 year current affairs have repeated in this examination. Not exact questions, not exact questions, but the events, but there are exact statements also, events. So it's a large sample, 9,000 questions, but on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, if you go on relying on the same source, revising it, reinforcing it, right, you don't have to go for any other current affair material for the preliminary examination, right? It makes entire thing smooth. Keep on looking back the same current affair. Let us say you are in the December, so June, July, we post monthly compilation of these quizzes. One separate as only question paper, one with question and answer, one with separate answer also. We have made everything simple. So you can download only question, right? In the end of the month, you can just check the question also, right? If there are 300 questions, you can take the question. If you have done everyday current affair quiz, just do the question part and again read the solution part, right? And doing this exercise every day will help you provide or supply content knowledge for mains answer writing. Daily facts, daily examples, daily concepts, right? When you pick up the secure initiative, I said in the beginning, you need to be ambitious every day, right? 10 to 20%. So if I'm asking you to write one answer, you should go back and write 2 or 3 answers. So you pick one question from the secure initiative, daily secure initiative. So under free initiatives, if you go under mains, secure. So this I had started in 2013 June, right? It is almost like 12 years. Not a single day we have stopped, right? Every day 6 to 10 questions consistently we have faced. I have written like, how to make use, how to self-evaluate. effects of globalization on Indian society. So we have put a very broad question, and then we explain, right, why this question and how to approach, right. And then for some question we give reference like the Hindu th. If it is from the Hindu article, we give the reference. So if you click this, so you will see that now Priyansh Shukla, I don't know who he is, which part of the country, right? Somewhere sitting from the comfort zone of his home, he has uploaded his answer copy, right? Now he has given his own presentation and answer. Like this, every day so many people write. Earlier it used to be like hundreds of people. Now the number is reduced. Still, this is one initiative where people still come back and they write and they post their answers. So you can choose one question, write your answer. To write answer, you have to do little research. It might consume 1 to 2 hours also for you, right? But let it be. Take your time, write answers, post. The moment you have researched, made points, written the answer, your confidence will be like on steroids. And if you do it on a daily basis, you always that imagination that IAS officer will stay intact, right? When you are doing this, you get ಜಿಮ್ಮಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋರು ಅದೇನೋ ತಗೊಂತಾರಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ creatine ಏನೇನೋ ತಗೊಂತಾರೆ, right? Like when you are working out, after the workout you feel like go in front of the mirror and right? So that is the effect this answer writing has every day, right? And you can check. Srushti Deshmukh used to write 4 to 5 answers every day in the same initiative, and she is all India rank 5 because of this initiative, right? Even now you go and ask, she will tell the same thing. Other day her husband had come to deliver a talk 3 months ago. She came online, she said the same thing, right? She recommended the same thing, and we have maintained, not just maintained, we have improved the quality of the questions here, right, of the feedback and whatnot, and we give the feedback also, right? Like review. So you just take photograph, post it in the comment box, then there is review, and then you can read, or you can take to mentor also physically, so you can show to mentors also. So that is why I said you are in a system. You don't have to look anywhere else. Anyone say anything, don't listen. We have delivered all India rank 1. I can again deliver all India rank 1 if I get a candidate who possesses all the qualities that I discussed in this session, right? Self accountability, consistency, discipline, fierce focus, mental toughness, right? Not to get distracted by anything, anyone, right? You have everything in this place. You can score highest marks in prelims, right? So current affairs is taken care, the static is taken care, and weekly test. In addition to that, we are going to give you 2 extra test series, one textbook basis and also one subject wise prelim test series. So nearly 100 full length prelims question papers is going to be made available for OGP students every year, right? So you have everything. All we need as an institution, right? Strong individuals who are, right, not perturbed by anything, not disturbed by anything, right? Totally like strong. So when I go back the memory lane, anybody who has become toppers had few qualities. One, familiarity. They were familiar with us throughout their journey, not like today you attended the class and vanished, right? The numbers are deceiving, okay? We have the capacity to guide everyone sitting in this room individually, right? We have the, I meet 40 to 50 students every day. When I'm not here, when I go to Davangere or somewhere, I have the capacity to meet more than 100 people in a day, talk to them 5 to 10 minutes, right? We have developed that capacity. Patiently sit with you, right? If somebody has come to my cabin, like you will see that I'm not in a rush to send people, right? We patiently discuss, right? We review, we assess. So we have the capacity. Second one, visibility, right? Familiarity comes because of the visibility, but mere visibility in the sense that you should be in and around in the system, right? So suddenly you see, you become, when people become insecure, then they go for other sources, right? When you become insecure, then you start looking for other solutions, right? It is not because of the attractiveness of the solution that you are going there. You haven't put your effort and that has resulted in insecurity, and then suddenly you are looking for other solution, right? Be aware of this. It will happen to you also, some of you, right? So don't get carried away because of the marketing, because of insecurity that here and there. No, you can come and talk to us. So third one, the consistency, right? So they have been consistent, not in terms of writing and other things, but not giving up also, right? So after one or two attempt, they didn't think that they have to leave it, right? So you would have come so near to your goal, right? That realization would have been there with them. It is not like I'm putting all my effort, I'm not making it. No, you have just come more closer. Give one more attempt, right? So people don't realize that. So for that, conversation is important, conversation with the right people. So fourth one, stubborn, very stubborn, I'm not going to give up. So when it comes to this, there was one girl, OGP student, Diya Dasgupta. She was there as part of this. She got into IPS. Again, she is giving this examination. One of the stubborn girls I have seen. Right, I'm not going to give up. Right, she used to say that, she used to do that, and in third attempt she got rank. She became IPS. She has again come back to Bangalore and she's preparing here. She didn't go anywhere. No Delhi, nothing. Here only. Similarly, another girl in our first batch who got rank 26, Neha Kumari, right, in her very first attempt within 12 months. Every day she gave minimum 14 hours. Every day, not even a single break. In her case, I still wonder, like the way I said, even when I had fever, when she used to have fever, she would come and write the tests. Right. I remember very vividly the very first day when she came. So I had already started my first batch. It was around 10 to 12 days into that first batch. She had written a mail from Jamshedpur that she wanted to come to Bangalore and be under my guidance. So I had said, okay, come. So she came with all the luggage and with her father, and people in the classroom around 40, they were already writing the test. That day it was the ethics test. So she came and I said, can you write the test? But sir, I haven't prepared anything. No, it is ethics test. So I've given 10 questions, maybe you can try. She didn't even blink, right? She told her father, Papa, you wait here, right? The luggage was still in the van, right? And she went inside. I gave her the notebook. She took the pen and she actually, wrote it for 1 hour. That day I knew that, she was going to become the topper. I knew when she got all India rank 26 in her very first attempt. So where are those kind of people? I mean, they may be there, but nowadays it is not your fault. During that time, there were not many institutions, not many websites, not too many mentors, giving attractive things and luring. It was very simple. Currently, this is simple also. We are the same people, same team, same mechanism. You just have to be that stubborn, that focused. So if you are like that, it is really very easy for us to make you, because our role is just 1% here, right? Facilitators. We are facilitators. We help you improve things, right? We help you improvise things. We help you stay focused. So we are facilitators. But if you are not coming and approaching us, so we cannot do anything, right? And I think ours is the only institution where we chase people. Come, like all our mentors. If you look at the Telegram, they will be messaging. I'm available morning 10 to 5. Come and show your essays. Right? You see mentors Telegram channel. They keep messaging. Very few people come. So don't waste your money here, right? Whatever money you were invested, I'm telling you, last 8 years, the fee has remained almost same year. Whereas it is around 2 lakh in all coaching institutions in Delhi, we have kept it somewhere around 1.2, but very few pay the full fees. But for the amount you are investing here, you are getting so much, right? You will realize, it is not just a mere empty talk I'm doing. We have been doing the previous batches, right? And you will realize after 1 month, the first thing you will realize what exactly UPSC preparation looks like. You will not have time to think about anything here at Inside IAS, right? You will not have time to think about anything. You are constantly kept in this UPSC mode. Your complaints will be something like, I don't have enough time to read paper, I don't have enough time to write answers. UPSC complaint. But don't complain. Try to find time, maybe sleep less, right? 6 hours of sleep is enough. So after 6 hours sleep, you have 18 hours. After finishing daily things, food, this and that, for 2 to 3 hours, you are still left with 14 to 15 hours, right? And in between 5 to 10 minutes intermittent breaks, right? Every hour, you are still left with around 12 hours, right? You can actually properly give 12 hours if you're totally involved here full time, right? So without any complaint, that is including the class I'm talking about, right? So all these are the things that I wanted to discuss in the orientation. I hope you are oriented now towards the UPSC. I hope you understood the demand of the examination, right? And it is also a very beautiful journey. Enjoy learning. I used to enjoy learning. So when I was preparing, see, it is me who started this revolution, started website, Inside IAS. After that, all whatever things you are seeing in India, they came up. Inside IAS was the original template for all people to post all these things and all these initiatives. So I didn't have Inside IAS when I was preparing. Like me, when so many people are preparing, no guidance, nothing. But I was always ambitious. Looking at the syllabus, I used to read the notification part again and again and again. What actually it is demanding. So essay there is a separate paragraph. Interview there is a separate paragraph. Mains there is a separate paragraph in the notification. So first thing again, in addition to everything I said, download the notification this year's, right? So it's a very simple thing. Overall intellectual traits and depth of understanding of candidates rather than merely the range of their information and memory. Right? It says very clearly overall intellectual traits. I repeated that word intellectual so many times. And depth of understanding. Right? Going deep into the topic. Rather than merely the range of their information and memory. Here, there refers to the candidate range, range of their information and memory. It is not testing you the general knowledge part. Like in quiz competition, you know about some basic facts about sports, something about geography, space, technology, everything, right? It is not like that. You have to go deeper. And the intellectual trait. The main examination is intended to assess the overall intellectual. Now we see that people think it is in the interview stage. Overall intellectual trait. Right. But what people do in the mains examination, they focus on the factual stuff. Your overall intellectual trait is evident the way you write your essay, the way you write your introduction, right? The way you convince evaluator about the quality of your answer, about the exactness of your answer according to the demand. So that intellectual trait, you will develop intellectual trait only when you are curious and read the original sources. Without being curious, without reading original sources, you are not going to develop intellectual trait. It is always range of information and memory. So the nature and standard of questions will be such a well-educated person will be able to answer them without any specialized study. Right? So you don't have to be an economist to answer GS3 question papers. So what you require is the first two qualities that I was mentioned. Similarly, you also have likely to test the candidate's basic understanding of all relevant issues and ability to see, analyze, and take a view on conflicting socio-economic goals. Ability to analyze. Analytical thinking, critical thinking, you can develop only by reading editorials and standard textbooks and writing regularly. If there is no analysis in your answer, then your answer is mere collection of facts, right? And writing relevant, meaningful, and succinct answers without being verbose, meaningful, relevant, and succinct. This is the Bible. It has the keywords, it has the best guidance in the world for you to how to prepare. Our job is to ensure you adhere to all these qualities, right? So similarly, in interview, sorry, essay paper, where is this? So they will be expected to keep closely to the subject of the essay, to arrange their ideas in an orderly fashion, and to write concisely. Credit will be given to effective and exact expression. The most interesting part is the interview. I think it will go down. So you go back and check the interview part. There are two paragraphs. You must read that interview paragraph, right? There are so many keywords that in the interview paragraph in the notification. So when I was an aspirant, I got carried away with these things. But the pattern was more of predictable. Two GS papers, two optional papers. So I would study 4 to 5 books for Indian polity, right? I would study 4 to 5 for geography. But now the demand is like that, people are not studying many books. When I was studying more books, the demand was more of a very herd mentality type, like not very in depth. So, but now the demand has gone very high. People, including optional and GS, nobody studies original textbooks. Only class notes, toppers notes, right? So don't become like that. Put extra efforts and read extra books. So that will add lots of depth and value to your personality and your preparation. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. I am done. Thank you. చెప్పాడేం స్పీచ్ అలా ఇది. Anyway, it's okay. Thank you.